You're just like, oh gosh, they see it. You remember what you feel when you look in the mirror in the morning. They're probably just as repulsed by it as I am. My name is Yuliya. I was born in Kazakhstan, but I've lived in the US, hence the accent. Then at some point, I decided to take a short break, maybe like 6 to 8 months, and travel around. And that's about the time when I ended up meeting my partner. And that was love at first sight and all that stuff. So that's how I ended up in Sweden. Though Sweden was on my list, for sure. So it was 2013. Suddenly I get this diagnosis. It was like a benign tumor. So I ended up on the surgery table for this benign tumor. I woke up and I thought, okay, I'm done and I'm gonna be moving on from this. And I ended up actually heading to another doctor's office and having this very difficult conversation. I was diagnosed with cancer. I was only 26, and you think like, oh, who gets cancer when they're 26? I just started a new job, which is hard on its own. I still have to finish college. I am by myself. I don't really have any family. I'd catch myself just staring into the void for hours. So it was a really, really hard time. I managed to survive that challenge. However, because of all the harsh treatments, I've had a whole variety of numerous health complications. So the skin condition is called rosacea. It started out small and it slowly started getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And I usually joke about it as like, oh my gosh, I'm finally hitting puberty. In my jokes, I think it was always a cry of desperation of like, oh my gosh, what is happening to me? I've definitely taken my skin for granted for many years. The first years in the US, I was working a lot in the service industry. There were moments when I'll be in the mall and I'm selling coffee machines, and these women that I'm talking to trying to sell coffee machines to will stop me and be like, oh my gosh, your skin is glowing, it's beautiful. Something that, I never really gave much thought to. And then you get sick and it all crumbles away from you. Everybody tells you, all the advice tell you do not touch it, but you can't help it because you just want to get rid of it. It only gets worse, and then you want to put makeup on, and that only aggravates it further. So I think a lot of the damage was correlated to the self-esteem. I stopped going out. It was affecting my career life as well. I didn't want to look in the mirrors eventually. At some point, I even had the mirrors covered up. I caught myself avoiding eye contact. And when you avoid eye contact, you almost amplify this social awkwardness. It wasn't me. I wasn't recognizing myself. So I've been following ShapeBy for quite some time on Instagram. Then came up the story about ShapeBy Foundation. It was a story about a woman who had cancer, and she wanted to get like this confidence boost, and ShapeBy took care of her. I wrote a reply and said like, wow, you guys, this is incredible, like giving back to people and taking care of your community. I sent them a couple of images and said, look, I got this rosacea after my cancer. It progressively got worse. Shortly after I got contacted, I came in and met Veronica for the first time. Veronica is basically my guru. But she just kept telling me like, you have to remember that you're beautiful. Aside from the treatment, I think her words of affirmation and her words of support were also like a huge giving. For me, that was one of the mind-blowing things about ShapeBy. From the moment you open this door, it's like my favorite place to be. To the people that are going through a similar struggle, get medical advice, think about it in a more complex way, pick a strategy. Just remember that you're not that condition. You're not rosacea. Rosacea is just something that's happening to you at the moment. I'm just myself again. I feel free again. Now I'm back to fabulous.